Welcome back to Pete's Workshop. Well, another Volkswagen in the house. This one, it's not mine though, it's my daughter's. So we're going to do some repairs on it. It's faulty and we need to fix it. And here it is, Volkswagen EOS. I came across this EOS on Facebook Marketplace. Apparently it was running fine, started running rough one afternoon, and the next morning wouldn't start at all. She had it towed quite a long way actually to a trusted mechanic, which is where we went and viewed the car. Mechanic was super helpful, very honest. Basically quoted the owner a new engine for it, and obviously $5,000 for a new engine is out of the realms of a lot of people. I knew it needed a new engine. It had probably skipped timing and bent valves. I didn't really know how bad that was going to be. I did come across also another guy selling a complete engine, exactly the same engine code. So I made sure I secured the purchase of that before we actually bought this car. He told me the engine just had a stuck injector, so there was no way of getting the injector out, and he bought a complete engine and had that reinstalled. Of course that was a complete lie, since there was a valve floating around inside cylinder 1. There is no way he did not know about this. Oh, notice the old style cam chain tensioner. Also the gauze that comes out of the cam bridge. Yep, pretty common, and this engine had them too. Anyway, there's no way I could use this head or the engine, so back to work on the EOS. So we got the EOS home no problem at all and put it into its temporary garage. Let's just check a few of the basics and do a compression test and see where we're at. Yep. Okay, stop. Pretty much zero. And number 2, and go. Go again. Yep, stop. That's actually got really good compression. Yeah. It's got like 200. That's pretty good. And go again. Stop. 3 has nothing. And go. Go again. Okay, stop. And that's got compression, but it's a little bit lower than the others, than the other high one. It's like 175. Okay. So that's kind of good because it's not all the cylinders.
Yeah, just 2 of them that are...
2 of them that are very low, yes. So I've got the head on the bench now. I'm able to have a good look at it. So I know definitely you can see every inlet valve has a shiny section, especially on the bottoms. Well, I'm calling them the bottoms, but you can see every one of them's got a shiny section there. Even though they look closed-ish, they're definitely not. But you can see this one here, for example, is definitely not closed. However, not as bad as I've seen in the past. So I've got another head that these are actually overlapping this part of the head. So not as bad, but definitely every single one has a shiny section on it. So I'm going to replace all of the inlet valves. Next thing I want to do is just check the exhaust valve seating as well. So you've got the head up like this so that I can pour some fluid down the ports, and at least so that I can check them. Interesting too, I see on this head there's like this etched section. It looks like someone's done that with an engraver. I'm not sure if that would be factory or if that means that this head may have had some work done on it before. Let me know in the comments if you think that is an aftermarket service engraving. And now we're obviously able to inspect the pistons really well. You can see that big chunk of carbon has come off that piston. I did notice the shiny section of the piston when I sent the borescope down, and now it's clear that that's actually just a piece of carbon that's come off. You can see other bits of carbon there as well, and you can see the shiny sections where the valves have cleaned off the carbon as well. Other than that, the cylinders, pistons, everything else looks fine, which is awesome. The other thing that looks really good as well is the turbocharger. So no shaft play on the turbine, and the wastegate looks pretty good for rattle as well. So I think we've got a good turbocharger on this one as well, which is great. The camshafts also look really good. I can't see anything that worries me too much about any of the lobes or the journals. All the lobes seem to be in line with each other, and all of the bearing journals seem to be okay as well. So I did want to check that the exhaust valves are good. So what I've done is just filled up the chambers with some water. Each of them are full. So number 1 is actually this end here. So there's no water coming through that one. Number 2 is looking good. Number 3 is looking good. Number 4 though, one of the valves is letting water through. So that one is not sealing very well, which probably explains why when we did the compression test, number 4 was only about 175 and number 2 was about 200. So that probably explains where the leakage was coming from. Although we know now that the inlet valves have definitely been hit on every single cylinder as well. So I'll definitely be putting 8 new inlet valves in. I might check this one to see if I can see it's bent, because it might just be the seat that needs a touch up. Got the head all stripped, all the valves out, all laid out neatly. Do a closer inspection on the exhausts, see if I need to replace any of those. Well, I have done some research on doing carbon cleaning because obviously direct injected car, I knew it was going to need to be carbon cleaned. I really wanted to try this Nulon Pro Strength upper cylinder cleaner, upper engine cleaner. It's designed exactly for removing carbon deposits and varnish and sludge. This was very caked up, I must say. I've actually just physically scraped that out a little bit, but I got quite a lot out. It was very gummed up, as you can imagine by looking at the valves. But when I bought that, I also bought the cheapest possible carby and throttle body cleaner as well, because I just wanted to see how that actually would go for this kind of job. So this is cylinder number 1, and I've been working on this one with the cheap throttle body cleaner, this one here. When you look at it, you think it's not really great, but if you spray it out and actually look at the job that it's done when there's aluminium under it, it's actually done a pretty good job. It's actually cleaned out pretty well. So it's difficult to see because the film just keeps building up as soon as it flashes off, but it has actually lifted the carbon and it's done a reasonable job. So next one, cylinder 2, is going to be with the much more expensive Nulon upper engine cleaner, and I'll give that a go. Let's just zoom in and have a look at this a bit closer. Obviously we got the smaller ports exhaust, but they are quite a bit of carbon buildup in those as well. And then these ones here I've just scraped out, but I haven't actually done any chemical on these at all yet. So we'll have a look at those and have a look after I come back after I've cleaned it. Well, that's not what I was expecting. It's a very foamy product, which is great because it sticks on. Have a look here where it's been able to get underneath this. Look at that. It's just actually got underneath that beautifully and peeled it off. So I'm going to just let that keep soaking as much as possible. And I'll keep building it up, I think, as well, before I give it a scrub. And then another rinse with the same stuff, and we'll see how that goes. Well, I would say that's done an excellent job. Again, it's very hard to clean off the residue. But what is great about this product is because it's foamy, it's almost gel-like, so it's much thicker and it doesn't dry instantly as soon as it touches the air. Interesting too how, see these flakes here? So it literally got underneath those and I just touched them with a sharp screwdriver and they fell out. So I would say that has done an excellent job there on cylinder number 2. Hopefully I can get them to clean out better, but maybe I'll have to soak it, the whole head, in some degreaser and then give it a pressure wash or something. But yeah, it's looking good. Can definitely do with some more here. Some more physical, just chip away that carbon in the exhaust there. Let's see if we can have a look inside the exhaust port as well. A little bit difficult to see as well, of course. But yeah, it's actually working very well, so it's a good product.
These are the valve guide seals, so very difficult to get out. So what I found I could do is just start to give it a bit of a wiggle and then give it a squirt with some WD-40. Give it a bit more of a wiggle and then just wiggle and pull, and that way was the easiest way to get them off. So don't struggle with them, give them a bit of lube and work them off. They came off much easier with some WD-40. Interestingly too, you'll notice that those ones are brass, and on the other side, those ones are stainless steel. So the exhaust valve stem guides are stainless, the inlets are actually brass. The other thing to be really careful of when you're wiggling these out is, see here where I can actually touch this journal, this bearing journal. So I have actually damaged that a tiny little bit. It'll be very easy to clean that up though. But yeah, just do be careful about these oil journals or these bearing journals. They're for the camshafts to run through. So just make sure that before you pop your cams in, just check these, and you might need to just give that just a very light hit with some 400 sandpaper.
Well, that's everything stripped. Now we can order the parts that we need to complete this job.